got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
And the security guard came over and said, "You're gonna have to move. You're blocking the fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run.
You make love to the right woman, Johnny, is beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the last time I made love to my wife, it was ridiculous. Nothing was happening. I looked at her, I said, "What's the matter? Can't you think of anyone either?"
I never learn, you know, like a waitress will bring my meal. "Hey, enjoy your meal, you too!" But you don't have one, do you? I'm a doofus. If you do eat, enjoy it when you eat it. If you have a break or something later, if you get an opportunity, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all that I'm driving at, really.
Hello, welcome to Comedy Think Tanked, a podcast with Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon, two comedians who know how to take a drink and have a thought. Sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy. Now, whether they're ready or not, here's your hosts, Leonard and Nick.
Hello and welcome to the Comedy Think Tank podcast.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon.
Nick, how are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing fantastic.
Excellent. What a great conversation we had with our next guest, Sara Poulin, up-and-coming comedian from the Auburn area.
Yeah.
And soon to be, or has been, a radio co-host to Mark Turcotte on WIGY Radio.
WIGY, right.
Shout out to them.
She's got lots of talents.
She's got lots of talents. She's also sung in bands. She's acted in plays, and who the hell knows what else.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll tell us during the interview. But it's funny, we were just thinking about the fact that our last two guests have been multi-talented people, more so than us.
Yeah, I know how to do IT stuff, and I know how to tell 4 or 5 jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that counts as multi-talented.
But that's not singing or playing an instrument or anything like that.
I feel bad about myself now, thanks.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here. No, it's just funny. We grew up playing sports. We grew up like going to school, getting good grades so we can play sports. And,
yeah.
Like we never once considered.
I was a good wrestler. Does that count?
No, I don't think it does. That's not something you can do as an adult.
You can wrestle as an adult. I did judo. How about that? I did judo.
Yeah.
I was really good at judo.
I guess. But I'm talking about like stage talent.
Oh, no, I don't have any stage talent, sorry.
Other than a little bit of comedy. I mean, you do improv as well, but
yeah,
it's kind of funny just to think about people that are multi-talented.
And getting nervous when they do comedy.
Yeah.
Right, because like...
People who've performed on a stage before should never be nervous.
Yeah, because I've seen people who are doing comedy maybe for the first time, and I'll say to them, "You seem like you've been on the stage before." And they'll go like, "Oh yeah, but I'm crazy nervous. I've never done comedy." I'm like, "Okay, well, yeah, but you've
spoken into a microphone."
Right, you're halfway there, just in terms of getting...
Maybe even more.
Right. Getting past the fact of like how to actually be on a stage and be in front of people and speaking to this device that amplifies your voice and paying attention to things that when you're trying to actually entertain a crowd of people.
Yeah, exactly. They're a multi. You ever hear the phrase like a 5-tool athlete? Don't focus on the word tool.
Just get a doctor to look at that.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like a baseball player who can hit and run and catch and throw and chew tobacco.
And tool things. What? Chew tobacco. Okay.
I don't know. But it's interesting when you get a comedian like Dana Carvey. He's a good example. He can play piano, play guitar. He can do impressions. He can write and perform jokes. That's only 4 things.
He can chew tobacco.
He can chew tobacco.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Mm-hmm.
But like he brings multiple things to the stage. I think any comedian who can bring an extra thing. I wish I could remember their name. Someone locally played the ukulele, and she wrote a song about Old Orchard Beach.
Really?
And it was an amazing song, and they actually did a video of it. And God, I wish I could. We'll have to put this in at some point.
We'll edit it in later.
Yeah, we'll find out who that was because she was really good, and I saw her
Okay.
perform the song live, and then I saw the video on YouTube as well, and it's like, wow, that's like an extra. Like on top of being a funny person writing good jokes, like you can also write a cool song and a funny cool song and play the ukulele and such like. I think that adds to the experience of audience, watching a performer.
Yeah.
So anybody who has these other talents should utilize those in an attempt to be funny. If that's what you want to do and be a comedian.
I'm gonna give it a try next time I'm on stage.
I guess you could wrestle.
Yeah, I was really good at wrestling. I was better at judo than wrestling.
Yeah, bring up a couple audience members, kick them in the balls, and see what happens.
Put a gi on them.
Yeah.
Toss them around.
Yeah,
all right.
I think that sounds like a great plan.
Cool.
Probably not.
We got to get our insurance lined up first.
Yeah, about that.
But Sara is incredibly talented. She's having a great time doing comedy. It's only been a year for her to
Yeah,
do
I think
comedy?
so. I
Okay.
think so. So kudos to her for trying it and sticking with it. And, the sky's the limit, I guess, as people say.
As they say.
As long as she brings her other talents to the stage. And I don't know. Acting like her agent now.
Bring a goddamn guitar.
Listen here,
on stage.
doll.
Oh, jeez. And on that note,
Yeah.
let's throw us our interview now.
Sounds great.
All right, everyone. Sara Poulin, thanks for listening.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To the podcast, Sara Poulin.
Thank you.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you.
You're supposed to say the name of the podcast.
I'm trying to. I'm drawing a blank.
This
I'm
morning
sorry.
on Fresh Air.
Yeah.
Oh, we're here at the Comedy Think Tank Studios.
Oh, wow. We have studios now.
Well,
For now.
for now.
Okay. I like how, is one place called a studios? Like, the Comedy Think Tank Studios?
No, that's Stu Studios.
Sue's Studio, isn't it?
What? I have
Phil
no
Co-
idea.
I don't know.
I think it's Susu Studio.
Oh, fuck. I've been singing it wrong all these
Oh.
years.
Oh.
Speaking of singing, we have Sara Poulin here on the
Nice,
Comedy
nice
Think
job.
Tank podcast.
Ah.
Yeah, there's someone else here, Nick.
With Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon. Sara, hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Have we said that already?
Yeah, a couple times.
Fuck.
Oh, we
okay.
only have 48 more minutes to do.
Yeah, that's
Just
all right.
keep saying hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Multi-talented Sara Poulin.
All right.
Local comedian here in the great city of Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also a musician and a radio host.
Yeah.
And what else do you do? A health nut?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take it.
You act also?
I act.
Okay.
Yeah, I sing, I act. I don't dance. I'm really not a very good dancer.
Are you going to try to?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's not like the people in podcast land could see. Anyway, you could be like, oh my God, that was fantastic. Look at her.
wow.
She can soft shoe. Woo.
That was incredible.
Wow. It's too bad you guys can't see it.
What do you like most of all those things? What's your favoritist?
It's a comedy podcast, so I feel compelled to say
No,
comedy, but I would be lying.
Yeah, you can be honest.
Yeah, no, singing for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just something I've done almost my whole life. Like my earliest memories of singing, I think I was like 3 or 4. So
Oh,
it's and I'm old, so that's like 40 plus years of singing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You just start singing along to the radio, or did you?
Yeah, I did. I remember I have a vivid memory of being in the garden with my mom picking beans, and I wrote a song about sitting on my butt picking beans, and I think I was like 4. She looked at me and she was like, "What the fuck?"
Do you remember any of the words?
I can. You want me to sing you the song?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. I'm sitting on my butt picking beans. I'm sitting on my butt picking beans. It's just me and my mom, and I'm sitting on my bum. Oh, I'm sitting on my bum picking beans. Yeah, it's not my tune, but it's my words.
Wow.
And I was 4.
Good job.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
pretty
you.
good. Yeah,
Thank you.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm talented.
And then you rocketed into stardom from there.
I wouldn't say rocketed. I sang at the dinner table a lot and got in trouble a lot for like constantly singing and humming. Like my mom didn't mind it, but I remember my grandpa would always get really upset with me for humming.
Should be seen and not heard.
Well, he would. My mom would explain to him that I sing when I'm happy, like I really do, like sing when I'm happy, and so he would always say, "I'm really glad that you're happy, baby, but you have to stop singing at the table. You're driving us crazy. You're making us crazy." But from there, I had entered a couple of contests and competitions, and I got kind of picked up by a local band when I was a teenager called the Digger Lags. Which is a potato reference, because for those of you who don't know, I'm from Aroostook County.
Okay.
Digger lags are these like metal bars on the potato tractors that roll over the earth and like toss the potatoes up, and the potatoes bounce along the digger lags. And
okay,
yeah, so that was the name of the band. It was a country western band. So I did that. We just did I did a couple of festivals with them, and then in college I did musicals. I joined bands. I was with a band called Calliope for a long time. And for the last 20 years, I've been with a band called Rick Wormwood and the Rumbling Proletariat.
Cool. And always singing, no instruments?
Always singing. I do play instruments. I play the flute, the saxophone, the trumpet, and I've recently started to learn how to play the ukulele. I'm not good at it, but it's kind of fun, Right. You have to do something during the pandemic. I was like, I'll just learn how to play the ukulele. So
okay, it's easy to carry around, also. I guess.
Yeah, totally. And it's if you want to be good at it, it's probably hard. If you want to be mediocre at it, like I am, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard to be mediocre. Okay.
Anybody can be mediocre.
Okay. Nick, you know how to play a ukulele?
I've tried. Yeah, I've figured out a few things on it.
Are you mediocre?
I'm definitely not even mediocre.
Oh, okay.
And I have no musical talents, to be quite honest. So
that's a shame.
It's just straight comedy, as you can tell.
Really, that's one of your talents?
That's really it.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. We'll figure that out later, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. There's time.
There's time. You're still young.
Yeah, exactly. So music is your first passion.
Yeah.
Recently comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that going to overtake music, you think, or is
it kind of already has?
Mm-hmm.
Just because we're coming out of a pandemic now, but for a long time bands were not meeting. We weren't playing. We couldn't have audiences. There wasn't really any good way for a band to get together and play music for people, because you couldn't have a group of people. But with comedy has been a little bit different, because you're alone up there on the stage. So that's one thing. And then the way that most of the shows I've been at recently people are pretty well separated. So
yeah.
I mean, bands are definitely making a comeback, but for the last year, not really doing anything. Plus, our lead singer moved to Lowell, Massachusetts, or Lynn, Massachusetts. So, it makes it a little bit harder to play music. But
right, and not to be a real downer, but you recently suffered a loss.
Yeah. So we've had a pretty big group of people for 20 years. Like, really, we've been a band for 20 years, and one of our songwriters and our rhythm guitar player just passed away last week. Yeah. Mike Ralston passed away last week. So R.I.P. Mike.
Very sorry.
Thank you
about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Thanks for bringing that up, Nick.
Well, no, I just.
No.
I mean,
no. I know it's one of those things we were talking. Rick Wormwood, who's the leader of our group, was saying we've lost a couple of people in the last couple of years, and we have somebody else, our bass players, struggling with prostate cancer right now, and it's not a super great prognosis, unfortunately. But it's one of those things where you're like, did we just live really hard, or is it just like we're getting old? Like,
oh, I see. Okay.
Are we just rock and roll? Is that what's happening? or or are we just, we're getting old? Like one of those two things, or maybe both. Like maybe, maybe we did live really hard and, we're losing people, but
it's just the way life goes, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so I'm sorry to report it.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you asked about it.
Yeah.
We got to honor Raleigh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a good way to do it. A podcast that doesn't get very many listens.
Yeah. Raleigh's up there going, what the fuck, you guys?
Don't talk about me on that podcast.
Why am I not? Really? This is what you got? Raleigh used to write all the songs that I sing. So that's kind of, I guess it definitely does. It matters.
Yeah, for sure.
He's written a bunch of really great songs. Yeah.
100%. Back to comedy.
Okay.
Let's.
Yeah. How long? So has it been a year into comedy?
So what happened is the pandemic. So in March of 2020, I signed up for Don Hartill's comedy class.
Okay.
And after about 3 weeks, we were the world just shut down. So I really did start in 2020 learning the process of comedy. And I do this thing every year where I pick 3 things that are really scary to me, and I try to learn how to do them. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So 2020, I had signed up for the comedy class because it was terrifying. I had signed up to do roller derby, and I was looking for a third really cool, scary thing to do, and ended up just not doing any of it because the fucking pandemic was scary enough. I didn't need
right,
and a lot of opportunities were closed. So,
okay.
So I did start comedy in 2020, and then when Lewiston Adult Ed reopened their classes this spring, I signed up to do it again, and this time we actually managed to get all the way through it, which was great. And then I found out that I love it. Like, I like writing. I've always been a writer, so I enjoy crafting jokes is one of my favorite things, but like getting up and performing them has always been kind of scary. But going through Don's class and meeting all of you guys and like watching other comedians, I've kind of learned it's fun. Like, it's not as scary. I still get like that, holy shit, am I really going to go up there and do 10 minutes in front of these people who I don't know? I guess I am. And I still get that every single time. Like, it's never not scary to me, but it is more fun now than it was before.
That's good.
Less terrifying.
Okay. That first time on stage, was it terrifying?
Yeah, I thought I was going to throw up.
Even though you performed growing up.
Yeah. So the big difference for me and probably anybody else who does like different types of performing is that as a comedian, it's just you. You are all alone on that stage. It's entirely up to you to make people laugh, to make people like you, to get them to buy into you. But when you're in a production, like on a stage, you've got a cast of people. You have, a group of people who are there to like bail you out if you forget something. Like, if you don't know your line, somebody on stage is going to be like, oh, but, and then they'll add on and you can keep going. Like, but or even like in music, like if I mess it up, someone else is playing, someone else is singing, someone else is covering it. You don't hear my mistakes. But when you're a comedian and you're up there all by yourself and you blank and you can't remember what you're supposed to do next, or you can't remember the thing you wanted to say next, or you just like, none of your jokes are coming to your mind, or no one's laughing, you're fucked. You're all alone. And that's why it was scary to me. Like, I was like, I can't figure out how to not be scared of being up there by myself. So, and that's why you're still all alone. It's never going to not be that way. You're always going to be up there by yourself.
Oh, okay. So I remember when I first started doing stand-up, I approached it as if I was acting. I mean, I've never been in a play, but I thought like, okay, I'm gonna act like I'm a professional comedian right now. I have this script that I'm gonna do. And because I don't do crowd work, so I have this script, and if you laugh, great. I will pause for a bit. But if you don't laugh, I'm just going to keep moving on, and I'm going to move on to the next part of my script. Right. Now's the part where I do this. Now's the part when I do this. Now's the part when I do this. So that helped me get through like that first year or so with stand up.
But what if you can't remember what comes next in your script? That's the thing, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I ended up like I would skip a joke by mistake. Yeah, but I was like, oh, okay, I know there's something coming up later with the
Africans or something. Like I got to jump to that, and then I realized off stage, like, oh no, I forgot to do this. I was like,
oh, isn't that the worst when you come off the stage and you're like, oh shit, that was a really good joke, and I forgot to tell it.
I wanted to try that new joke right in the middle there.
Yeah,
oh, no.
yeah, I've definitely had those moments. That's similar to some advice that Tuck Tucker gave me, actually.
Really?
I saw him at a Titus 5 actually contest that Nick Gordon was in, and woohoo,
That's me.
that's you, and he and I were just Tuck and I were just talking, and I was explaining like being scared, and he was like, yeah, but you're an actress, like you know what you're doing on stage, and I said, yeah, and he's like, so figure out who your character is, pretend that you're acting, pretend that this is the show, that you are up there on a stage, and this is a production, like you're
right.
Whoever you want to be is who you can be. Like the person that you are on stage doesn't actually have to be the person that you are in real life either. That's something else that I've come to learn. Like if you see my act, you're like, oh, she's kind of raunchy, but then you meet me in person and you're like, no, she's nothing like that. Like it's not really my persona so much. So so that was similar advice from Tuck that I got. So I think it's pretty common for us to go into our own heads and be like, all right, well, I am Yolanda.
But
well, maybe you're not Yolanda, but I am.
Yeah.
But then if you switch the way you think about it, you can turn it into stand-up comedy and actually make it look like, because when you are up on stage, and I think this about a lot of people, it's like, wow, they're actually doing a really good job. And they come off stage and they're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous and I don't know what to do. It's like, whoa, like you actually were pretty good. Like, why don't you just calm down?
That went well. That
really did go well. Like there was a lot of people laughing and whatnot. And
Good.
It is difficult sometimes when you're on that stage and things aren't in your mind going right.
Right. And a lot of times a lot of other comedians have said your stage presence is great.
Yeah.
And that's something I've already brought to the table. I have a stage presence. Like I know where to stand. I know what to do. I know how to make people like me, I guess. So that I do have that definitely going for me from previous experience, but it's really is just like being alone. Being all alone.
And you say you have about 10 minutes of material now?
At this point, I have about 15 that I can pull from, mix and match. So I've only really been doing it since March of this year. So that's when we finished up our adult ed class was, I guess, April of this year. So I've been really lucky. You guys, River Comics, have given me a lot of opportunities at Bruno's and a few other places. And then Mark Turcotte of Main Event Comedy has been really great about offering me things. And I just did a really cool show actually down in Springvale with an improv group called You Should Smile More. And it's an all women's improv group. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
So it was one of the neatest things I've ever done. Like I got up and I did my 10, 12 minutes of material. And then this group of improvers got up and did an hour-long show just pulling things from my set. So when I went backstage, I looked, there's this big piece of paper and written all over it in colored markers are tags from my jokes.
Really?
And so as I was doing my set, they were all like writing, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And so they got up and they brought every joke I did to life. Like they gave it this amazing life of its own. And I sat in the audience and I laughed so hard. I was like, this is hilarious.
That sounds awesome.
It was so much fun. I would love to do it again. And I would definitely recommend for anybody, if you have an opportunity to see those ladies do their job. It is just amazing.
What was the name again?
It's called You Should Smile More. It's an all women's improv group.
Cool.
And they did it in the Nason Theater in Springvale. And that place is beautiful. It's newly renovated. I guess Nason College was down there. It was one of like the only liberal arts colleges in New England. And so they have this beautiful space that's no longer a college, but they've got it renovated for as a community center. And they've got this big, beautiful auditorium. They have a nice stage. They have a nice setup down there. It's really nice. Nice.
Nice.
Everything's so nice.
Yeah. Did you take that opportunity to add some stuff to your own jokes off of what they did? Like,
I haven't yet, but I'm thinking about it. Like it's been a busy couple of weeks with work, and I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of joke writing. But there's some things that I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. I'm gonna definitely pull that in and put that into my act because it was good. It was funny. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was in a class where everyone did a bit of material, and then it's Tim Farrell's class, and then at the end of the class, he said, "Okay, now he paired people up and he said, okay, now Leonard, you do some of this person's joke. You do 30 seconds of that person's joke. And so listening to someone do 30 seconds of my jokes like gave me ideas of things to do differently.
Oh, so you viewed it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd love to see some of that class. That sounds like fun. Tim Farrell. I've heard good things about Tim Farrell's class.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
So you also are you doing improv now? You're taking a class now?
So I'm doing it again. I'm taking an improv class with Lewiston Adult Ed. Again, Don Hartel is teaching. It's about, I think we have 10 people. And it's, it's learning the rules of improv. The number one rule being agree, pretty much. Like, yes, and
right.
I mean, Leonard, you do improv, so you probably already know. But learning how to be positively react to things is actually kind of hard. Like,
yeah, it's really, really hard because to not go like, oh no, that's not what's going on right now.
That's not what I'm doing. Like, you have to just go with, okay, I thought I was milking a cow, but it turns out I'm doing something very different.
Accept it and move on.
Just move on.
Yeah, keep the scene going.
Oh, I get it, milking a cow.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's really fun though. I've only had one class. We meet on Tuesdays, so I'll have our second class this week, and I think it's a little bit more natural to me than stand-up comedy because it's with a group of people, and it's acting, like you're acting something out. So I am enjoying it very much.
Would you want to go on and be an improv group member?
I think it's too early to say.
Well, you're enjoying it a lot.
I am enjoying it. There's lots of things I enjoy a lot, but I might not go on to.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
No, I like it, and it's fun. I think at some point a person has to stop and say, okay, I'm doing too much. Like I just have too many things I'm doing, and I need to, figure out if I want to keep focus on this thing and make this better, or do I want to just like keep doing this, and this, but only a little bit. So.
Okay. Yeah. There definitely is something to be said about focusing on one thing and removing all distraction in order to focus on the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but I take it that's probably never been you in life.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, because I mean, you music and obviously just regular life, and then you're adding comedy into that, but you also have a job, and things that need to be done.
Parenting.
Oh yeah, parenting too.
That's the thing right now. I've got.
Yeah, parenting. Like you have a kid that's.
I've got one more year. I'm so close. I can almost taste it.
Yeah. But it's not going to end after he graduates from high school.
No. According to him, it is.
Oh yeah.
He's done.
We'll see.
Yeah, he's 17. He's a senior at EL here in Auburn, and he's great. He's very similar to me. He's very musically talented. His dad is also super musically talented, so he's just been around it his whole life. And interestingly enough, with him, he actually takes that backstage approach to it. Like he's perfectly happy running the soundboard. He's really enjoys running lights, like the engineering side of things. Is
We're
more
looking for an intern.
Yeah. He would love it. He would absolutely love it. Like but musically, he's into, like, he plays the bass, he plays the piano, he plays the saxophone. He sings, but he won't let anybody hear him. I have a theory about that, being that if you sing in front of somebody who sings really well, you get self-conscious about it. And he's grown up his whole life listening to me sing to him. So I think in his brain, he's like, I don't want to sing in front of my mom. Like, that would be embarrassing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's been the project for the last 17 years that I have spent a lot of focus on. And that's another thing that sort of led me to try it out, do new things. Like that was the catalyst for, okay, I'm going to try 3 scary things and see what happens. Is like, you're looking down the road at this thing that you've spent 17, 16 years working on, this project that is almost finished. And you're like, well, now what do I do? Who am I once this person that I've invested my life in is no longer, requiring all of my attention? Like, what can I do for me? Yeah. Like, what can I do that's fun for me? And so that's sort of when the process of picking like interesting and scary things to do sort of took hold, and I started trying stuff. Yeah,
the 3 scary things, that's really interesting. And what did you do in non-pandemic years? Or the example of 3 things.
So in 2019, what did I do? I went whitewater rafting for the first time. Like, even despite having gone to school for an outdoor recreation minor, I had never been whitewater rafting. So I tried that, that was really, really super fun. And then I did, it was like a Spartan race, the Tough Mountain Challenge, up in Western Maine. I did that. It's like a 5K with like 19 different obstacles that you had to, get around. And I did that. And that was really scary. That was the third thing I did. Shoot. Oh, Mamma Mia. I did Mamma Mia with Community Little Theater. I had never done theater in Auburn. I've lived here since 2007, and I had never gone out for anything in the community. And so I did Mamma Mia in 2019.
Okay.
The musical production. Community Little Theater. And it was really fun.
Cool.
I had a good time. Yeah.
I saw that play.
Yeah. Our mutual friend Nate White was in that. That's actually how I met all of you guys.
Really? That was
Yeah.
Okay.
Nate White introduced me to all of these lovely comedy people, and it just sort of like busted out from there.
Oh.
Thanks, Nate White.
Thank you, Nate White.
Thanks, Nate White.
Yeah, thanks, Nate White.
Great. Good job, buddy.
You mentioned roller derby before.
Yeah.
You didn't get the chance to do that.
No, I never did get the chance to do roller derby. I'm wondering now if they must be reopened. So there's a roller derby team in Lewiston, Auburn. I can't for the life of me remember their name now, but yeah, I had gone, I had signed up. I was on my way to get my equipment, and then it was like a week later, and they were like, well, we can't really practice together, so
we could do Zoom practices.
How do you remotely practice roller derby? How are you going to teach me to jump over somebody in skates on Zoom?
Can you skate?
I'm a mediocre skater, but what I've been told by the roller derby crew is that you don't really have to be a good skater. You guys in podcast land can't see me, but I'm built pretty tough.
You don't have to know how to skate well?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
It's counterintuitive.
There's only a couple of people who need to skate well. And the rest of us are there to keep those people from getting hit. Yeah. So as long as you can stay up on your skates and you can build a wall with your body and you can like hold your own, you're fine to roller derby.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I was told. Maybe they were just trying to be positive about it. But they go through a process. Like, you don't just like hit the floor and skate. Like, you have to go through training. Like, there's like certain equipment that you have to have. They don't want concussions. They don't want broken bones. Like, there's like at least $500 worth of equipment and certain skates that you have to wear and certain helmets that you have to wear. And like I said, it's 6 months, I think, that you just skate over and over again. They throw things in your way. You have to jump over it. Like,
Really?
they put up obstacles as you're skating the course. Like, you have to be able to dodge and jump and make your way around things, because those things eventually are going to be humans and you don't want to hit them with your body or your skates.
Okay.
So they prepare you to get around stuff. Yeah. I mean, it sounds really cool. I thought it was going to be really fun. So I'm kind of bummed that it didn't happen, but maybe 2022 will be my roller derby year.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
I got to pick out my 3 scary things to do in 2022.
Okay.
It's coming right up.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I have an uncle who is he's a parachuter, and I was thinking that's really scary.
I was just thinking the same thing. If I thought about something to do, parachuting would probably be one of the things on my list. 'Cause I'm afraid of heights.
Oh, so that's really scary.
Yeah, I'm afraid of heights, but I was thinking I'm not especially afraid of
Jumping out of a plane?
Right.
Really?
Because like if I'm like at the top of a building and I can see the ground, that makes me dizzy. Like if I'm looking out the window and I can see the ground, that makes me dizzy. But like if I'm up in a plane, I can't really see the ground anyway. So it's like
I beg to differ, but
I can't see it enough to make me dizzy, I guess.
all right, I get you. I have a list of things I'm not gonna do
Is that on
as
it?
I get older, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things.
What would your 3 scary
It's like
things
the
be?
anti-bucket list.
The anti-bucket list.
My 3 scary things
that you would never do.
that I would never do.
Yeah. Like, are there 3 that you would never do?
Yeah, like parachuting would be one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, you know how people, as they grow older, they're like, oh, I got to learn how to be a pilot. I want to fly like a little plane or whatever. Like, nope, I'm good with that. I mean, it'd be as cool as it would have been 10, 20 years ago. Like, there's no time. I want to come back to focusing on the things that I want to do. and like that I've already started doing that, like comedy and whatnot. Like I really want to get somewhere to do comedy, like, in a big city or a cool venue that, know. So like I'd rather focus on that stuff than say like, oh, I want to take a weekend away and go fucking parachuting.
Jump out of a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking parachute.
Yeah, like,
fucking parachute.
It just seems like a waste of time and money in my.
That's their tagline. Just fucking parachuting.
Skydive Maine, fucking parachute.
We just got sued. Thank you.
You're welcome. My uncle works for Skydive Maine. Hi, Uncle Paul.
Oh.
Will he listen to this?
If I tell him to.
Okay, cool.
Good. Get on that.
Thanks for the listen.
I do think like looking ahead, like you're saying, like something scary for me would be like going to, even not like, because I'm not in a place to do a show in New York, but like attending an open mic in New York. Or even like Boston, someplace bigger than where I'm at right now. Like moving myself forward in comedy into bigger venues with bigger crowds. I think that's definitely scary for me. I would put that on my list of one of my 3 scary things to do.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and it's comedy related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick's trying to get us all to work more on our comedy instead of these.
Well,
frivolous.
It is a comedy podcast.
It is a comedy podcast, and I do really enjoy comedy, and I would love to have this be my full-time endeavor in life.
If you guys could all just stop doing anything other than comedy.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. No, it's fine. I understand how people you got to have short-term goals, long-term goals, all that sort of stuff, and things that make you happy in the middle.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine jumping out of a plane, paying good money to go jump out of a plane. So that's just not for me. But I guess if it was free, I might consider it, but probably not.
Oh, yeah. Can it be free?
Not for you guys. Hi, Uncle Paul.
It can be free if you don't have the parachute, I think. But yeah, you want to jump? Let's go ahead.
You don't even need a plane. You can jump right off this building.
Yeah, I dare you.
That'd be scary. I can't jump off a building.
I can't jump off a building.
No.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. You need to coerce Leonard into something. You just take him to the top of the Empire State Building. So, Leonard, listen. You and I have been doing this podcast thing for a while. I need you to take it more seriously.
He would have been a bad mob informant, I think.
Oh, Leonard, you're too affable.
I'll tell you where the gold is.
We don't. Can we stop climbing these stairs? We don't need to go.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll give you everything you need to know. Don't worry about it.
Oh gosh,
I'll take you there.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean, I definitely, I have lots of interests, as you know. Like I'm constantly trying out new things and looking for new things to do. But comedy is definitely fitting in there nicely into my regular life. Like it's every weekend, it's every Friday, every Saturday. I'm doing something. So
yeah,
it's getting bigger and bigger. I've been a comedy fan for as long as I can remember. So.
Who are your comedy influences?
For me, Carol Burnett.
No, for other.
For me,
for other guests.
Oh, you're not asking the ghost in Leonard's basement? Carol Burnett.
Studio.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Leonard's podcast studio. Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball, Paula Poundstone are the 3 that come to mind. Like those are the 3 women comedians that I definitely am like, oh man, that's where I want to be.
Doesn't have to be women comedians.
I know. Well, so as far as like male comedians, Jon Stewart, I remember being a teenager and watching he had a clip show, and it was called Short Attention Span Theater. It was in the early 90s. He and a woman, Patty Rosenberg, I want to say, had a show where they just took little, 30-second or 30 seconds to 2-minute clips of different comedians, stand-up comics, like performing their act and just like taking the best of it and putting them all together and doing like a 30-minute of like 10, 15 different comics. And I remember just watching that as a kid thinking, oh my God, that's the coolest thing. I want to do that. So Jon Stewart was there like right from the very beginning of me learning about comedy. And that's the first time I ever saw Dennis Leary, who was, that was the first comedy album that I owned was Dennis Leary's No Cure for Cancer. I remember having it on a cassette tape and putting it in my car. And just like listening to it over and over again and being like, oh my God, he's so funny. It was the first time I'd ever heard somebody say fuck over and over and over again. And I was like,
how old were you?
Probably 16, 17. Yeah. I mean, I've heard my dad say it a bunch, but I'd never heard like another adult to be like, fuck this and fuck that. And I was like, we're allowed to do that? Oh, we can't do that, can we? And just listening to it over and over again. Loved it. But yeah, so those, and I remember watching like, a lot of you Gen Xers will remember like getting home, watching TV Land, like Carol Burnett would be on in the evenings, and I'd watch it with my mom sometimes. But like I would watch I Love Lucy all afternoon sometimes, just in black and whites. And her facial expressions, and I'd say the same with Carol Burnett, like their physicality were the things that really like hooked you in, and you wanted to pay attention to what they were doing just because of the way they would move their bodies. Like I will never ever forget Carol Burnett's sketch show where she took the curtain rod and she put it into a dress and she made fun of Gone with the Wind. Do you guys remember this?
Oh yes,
she came down like the stairs of the makeshift. I don't remember, Tara, I think it was called, like in the actual, Gone with the Wind, but she came down with these curtain rods and she says, I saw it in the window and I couldn't resist. I was like, that's fucking genius. Genius. She was so funny and so good. Like that whole cast of people was hilarious. Tim Conway was hilarious. Like, and I just remember watching those like over and over again and just wanting a piece of that, like wanting to ever be able to make people laugh the way that she made people laugh. Because that's really what draws me to comedy is like, and it's probably the same for a lot of comics, like love and adulation. Yeah. I need that affirmation of I am funny. You do love me. Everything about me is great. Like, everybody needs, like, it's a full on narcissist, but that being able to do that, like, or even just give that to people, like give them a minute of like, I saw that in the window and I couldn't resist. Like,
that's a good joke. I wasn't sure where that was going. And then I could picture the whole thing, and then that's a really hell of a good joke. That's
amazing. Yeah. If you haven't gone back and watched those since you were a kid, definitely go back.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh my gosh!
Oh really?
Yeah. No, I will. I'll check it out. I'm writing it down right now.
No, you're gonna. But then, so she and Lucille Ball for sure, and then Paula Poundstone. Like as I got into my teenage years, Paula Poundstone's dry wit and just the tone and the intonation of her voice, the lull of how she develops a joke and delivers it. She's great. And I just I started listening to Wait, Don't Tell Me. Speaking of Wait, Don't Come Yet and NPR, but listen to Wait, Don't Tell Me.
It's gonna be a good joke.
Yeah. And just thinking, oh, she's so quick. She's so quick. Like they, the way they quip on those shows, those quiz shows, and there's just great comics on those shows too, like Bobcat Goldthwait and Paula Poundstone, Mo Rocca, all doing, these like little 5 seconds of like, oh my God, how do they come up with that so fast, like on the fly like that? It's great, and it's something that you want to sort of strive towards and be able to do. Like you said, you don't do crowd work. But that's basically what that is. Like, 60 minutes of Wait, Don't Tell Me is crowd work. And I want to get better at that. Like that's my goal for the rest of this year doing shows is to be able to interact with the crowd and not be like, oh, you don't love me, why are you heckling me? Like I want to be able to have like a quick quip and a comeback just like that.
I think it comes down to writing. I think it comes down to writing down things that come to your mind, and then knowing those things are there in the chamber, so to speak, and then when a situation occurs, that you can use one and having it ready to go, and then you fire off, and then. But I wonder with shows like that if those guys do write a bunch of stuff and have it ready, or if they really are like that fast to improv something from their mind. I imagine they're all professionals, so they must be. Yeah. Able to do that,
and I'm sure editing too.
Yeah, of course,
it comes together. But
I recently started following Paula Poundstone on Twitter. It's a good follow for anyone who does.
Oh yeah.
She's
we can tag her in this. I think
so.
See if we can get her on the podcast.
Yeah,
she told a joke years and years ago about I think it was a cantaloupe. Like she's never sure like when fruit is ready. So she buys a cantaloupe or something like that, and she's waiting and she's waiting and she's waiting and she's waiting, and it's never ready. And then at like 2 a.m. she goes downstairs and she wakes the kids because the fucking cantaloupe's finally ready, and they're like eating cantaloupe at 2 a.m. it's ready. If you wait too long, it's gonna go bad. But She's a funny lady. I like how she talks about her cats. Like they're people. She talks about her cats like they're people. It's awesome. She's good.
Yeah, we did a cameo. I did a cameo purchase with Paula Poundstone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and her cat was in the video.
She comes to Maine. Well, pre-pandemic.
She recently did, yeah.
And I want to say the Gunkwit Playhouse. She goes there. I mean, I can't remember now, but
it might have been the Waterville Opera House.
Waterville,
Like she
okay,
might have been
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's good. She's funny. Going back to what you were saying about like having things in the chamber, I have a notepad in my car. I drive for work. So a lot of times I'm on the road.
You're a trucker?
Yeah. Long haul. Yeah, I haul cantaloupes. Paul, if you're listening. So no, I drive for work. I do training for the company that I work for, and so our furthest store is Bangor, and so I'll be driving and I'll just have like an idea, and so I have this little notepad, and I'll it's not safe. Don't do this. I write things down as I'm driving.
Oh no!
On this little So there's Post-its all around my car with like little things written on it. Where and I was looking at it before I came in here. I was like, oh, what are we going to talk about today? And I like flipped through my Post-its and I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like in the moment it made sense, but now I go back and I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Or it's illegible because I am still driving and I'm trying not to get off the road. Like
it's because you're hitting the bumps on the side of the breakdown lane.
The rumble strip. Oh no. Yes, I've got a little notepad, and I know I can use my phone, and I don't need to. I can do it hands free, but I don't know. There's something about for me like physically having it written down on a piece of paper. Like I still have, notebooks of my jokes. Like I still write on actual paper with a pencil, and I will go back and I'll put them into like a Google Doc to, pick through and reorganize. But I just, when I'm writing a joke, it's always on paper. I never write it on my phone or write it on the computer first. It's always on a piece of paper. Yeah. It's an old school librarian thing, I think. I used to work in a library many years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have a little out card that you got to stamp when you start writing?
Needed to check out this joke. No. Need a little slip of paper with a Dewey Decibel number on it to keep them organized.
So writing has been a part of your life?
Yeah.
And you've written...
I write for a magazine. Yeah, I write for a magazine.
Yeah.
I do. I submit all the time writing. My degree is in English. I went to college for writing, and it's not a lucrative business when you're. No. Yeah, so I've been writing since I was like 16, 17. I have like notebooks of terrible poems, after bad breakups and shit like that, but also narratives that I've written. I write for LA Metro Magazine, so I've got a few articles that I've done for them, and I submit to creative nonfiction pretty frequently. So I've always been writing. This is the first time that it feels like my writing is instantly appreciated. You submit and you submit and you submit and you get rejections and you don't even really know if anybody's reading it on the other end of the line. Like maybe they're reading it, maybe they're just like, no, that's not for us, or no, that's, that doesn't fit our magazine or whoever. But like when you're writing a joke and you deliver it and people laugh, it's instantaneous. Like, you're like, oh, I can write. I am a good writer. All right, great. Yeah. So it's, it's very fulfilling to have that instant gratification of writing and having somebody react to it right in front of you. It's really, really cool. Yeah. I enjoy writing.
Well, we all need to write more. Like Nick says it all the time. Like,
right now.
Nick's like,
why are we doing this?
Stop with your other stuff. Write more.
Write more jokes?
Yeah,
or
write
just
more jokes. Yeah.
Write your narratives.
Just write.
Write your life story.
I love writing too. So
yeah, we used to get together, more often in the past, and just doing writing workshops, and we're running jokes by each other, and over beer, and
that's helpful. I mean, you can sit on your own and you can write a joke, but it's really hard. I'm sure a lot of other comedians will say the same thing. Like I'm always asking another comedian, is this a thing? Is this funny? What do you think about this? Like, can I make this funnier? So it's nice to have, a group of people like we do here in Lewiston, Auburn, who sit together and talk. But it's great to have some people to write with too. Like being able to bounce ideas off of each other is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly not critical, but at the same time, it is helpful.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, having somebody else's outside perspective, like, because you get pretty attached. Leonard knows you get pretty attached to some of your stuff where you're like, no, this is funny. People laugh. This is funny. But to have like an outside banana feel, but
Nick's giving me a death glare.
We weren't gonna bring it up.
I brought it up. Leonard didn't bring it up. But like having, you get close to something and you're like, you hold on to it and you don't want to let it go.
Right.
But it really might not be funny. And to be able to have like a trusted group of people who are also comedians, who are also writing, be able to look at you and say, it's not working. Like what you're doing is not working. You need to look at it from a different angle. You have to understand, like, what about this joke is funny? Like, why do you think it's funny? And then have somebody say, well, this is why I think it's not. And if you want to keep going with it, keep going with it. But just know that, it's not as funny as you think it is.
Just know we're gonna hate you forever.
Yeah.
If you continue to do this joke, Leonard.
It's hard to hear that though, don't you think? Like where you're like, no, this is good, this is funny. Or if something is really like pushing the edge of not being quite appropriate, like where you're like, can I get away with saying this? Or is it just like that one step too far where, you're just kind of crossing the line a little bit and,
right.
Having somebody else say, no, you're definitely crossing the line, or no, go further, push further. Like Mark Turcotte's one of those people who's always like, push it further, keep going with it. It's getting better. So
I would agree with that.
Appreciate that.
Do you have a line that you're not going to cross? Because currently there's female comedians, that are out there and everything is extremely sexual and it vulgar to the point of like, whoa.
Yeah, you're never going to hear me do a blowjob joke ever. Like it's just not my thing. I'm not going to do it. I think it's like a low hanging fruit. Like it's not. I'll joke about sex because that's the age that I'm at, like where I'm at. But I'm not gonna talk about sucking dick for the sake of getting a laugh. Like it's actually not that funny. Like when you think about it. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not really a political line or a.
Oh yeah, but you have established a line where it's like, I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna try to. Most of my stuff is actually pretty clean. I have a couple of jokes where it's like bordering on being sexual, but it's really not super. It's not really pushing it. Like I think you can be funny without actually going to that side of things. Like again, going back to my the people that I respected as comedians. Like you would never see Carol Burnett do shit like that. You never see Lucille Ball do stuff like that. Like that. They can be funny without resorting to that sort of thing.
They came up at a time though where they really couldn't talk about that stuff though, and even male comedians might like there was innuendo, but there wasn't.
Right. That's the thing about Carol Burnett. The innuendo is always there. Like it's funny.
It's smarter.
It's smarter, exactly. Like that great Saturday Night Live sketch where they talk about it's like all these Southern people sitting on the porch, and they talk about Colonel Angus, but they're doing it in this Southern Colonel Angus, and they're just like very Southern, and you get it. You're like, oh, they're talking about oral sex. Oh my god! And it's just funny because they never actually go there. They just continuously, plant this idea in your mind of Colonel Angus is he's very popular with the ladies, like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, he is actually.
So there's definitely a point of being vulgar on stage, but is your comedy actually clean? I'm trying to think of your jokes now.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I might throw a fuck in there every now and then, but I don't have to.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be in there. There's nothing in there that I wouldn't want my kid to see, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, is the way I approach comedy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that made it harder for you to write, or that's just your personality?
I think that's just my personality.
Yeah, these are things I have, and I'm putting them on the paper anyway.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like when I said earlier, I'm raunchy. I mean, I just use language that normally. I mean, I would only use it in home.
You can't talk like that at work.
You can't talk like that at work. Like
right.
I'm saying like the people who know me from work, people in a professional setting or even like my theater setting wouldn't know that I really like the word fuck. It's like one of my favorite words. I think you should say it every day as much as you can. But I just think like those people would never, like if they came and saw me do stand up, they wouldn't be like, oh, her material is raunchy, but I've never heard her use that word before. Like that might be more what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's it. It's not much of a line, really. It's,
Well, it's something.
It's something. I mean, I have a joke I do about gynecologists, but like, it's very relatable. Like, I just think, I think you have to look at your audience too and think, are they gonna laugh at this? Are they gonna think this is funny, or do I skip this one and do the next?
I say do every joke all the time.
Yeah.
Run the clock.
I do the same jokes.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. This is all bullshit. Nobody cares.
This is fake. This is all fake.
Well, I suppose when you have enough material,
yeah,
and you can decide, oh, look at this crowd. I'm not going to do that 3-minute section of my set that I was going to do. I'll put something else in there instead.
Right.
Like, but for me, it's like if I've got 10 minutes to do, you're gonna get the 10 minutes I do all the time. So
yeah, I think I probably have 20 minutes of jokes, but I like mix and match it into different pieces. Like, it doesn't all fit together. Like, it's like Legos. You have to like match them up and get them to fit together so that it's coherent and sort of makes sense. And so then it ends up usually being like 10 to 12 full solid, like from start to finish. This is connected and it all makes sense. But I like to sort of mix it up, and I don't want to do the same set over and over again. And I know that there's some benefit to that, but I want to do the same jokes over and over again, but I maybe don't want to do them in the same order every time. I want to like throw some in here and throw some in there and sort of mix it up. That maybe is why I freak out before every show.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, why did I do this?
No, I have heard good advice that people say to change up the order of your set. I still can't do it. But
No. Well, you've got it. Yours is solid.
It's always in the same order.
Yeah.
Like I've never. I think I've switched things up once, and it was.
Did you go off the rails?
No, I ended up forgetting things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So if I started with a joke that I normally do later in my set, and then I end up like thinking like, okay, where am I now? And I have the set list in my head because I printed out 1,000 times, so I'm staring at it all the time, and so I'm thinking like, okay, now if I'm down here. In my set list, and now I got to remember to go back up here, and then I got to remember to jump back down here, and then go back up here again, and then I end up just forgetting something.
Yeah, and then you walk off the stage and you're like, shit.
Oh, now I forgot.
Can I come back? I got to deliver this joke about.
I got to do the banana peel.
I forgot bananas. Damn it. That's the worst. I find that to be the worst feeling. Like when you get off the stage, even if I've done a really good job, I cannot help but beat myself up over. Oh, I didn't deliver that right, or I forgot this joke. Like I'm so hypercritical of myself. Like I legitimately, when I ask people how was it, how did it go, and they tell me it was good, and I'm like, one thing. If there's just one thing that I had done differently, what would you think it would be? And I really want to know. Like I want people to tell me. I want to get better. Like this is also new to me. Like and the people that I'm asking are respected people. Like, I want to know what you think. Like, I know what I think, but I just did 10 minutes of, rapid heartbeat hammering out jokes as fast as I could so I could run away from these people. I want to know what you thought. I want you to tell me what you think would be better. So when I'm asking people, I'm legitimately, I want critical feedback. I want to know, how can I make it better?
Yeah,
what can
that's a
I
good
do?
thing to ask. Like, what's the one thing, if you had to tell me one thing to do?
Yeah, one piece that you would change, or one thing that, and sometimes it's like, oh, well, that punchline didn't work like this. You should try it like that. And then you're like, well, no.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
like it when people try to rewrite your jokes. I don't like that.
No, I guess not that, but like, and you can always just accept or reject whatever advice you get. And you don't even have to accept or reject it in the moment. You can just say thank you and you move on.
Yeah. Good bits of advice that I've gotten, after shows are, ditch this, it's not working, or maybe you didn't wait long enough. Like you got to let them laugh more. That joke's really funny, but you stepped on it. You got to, because there's a couple of jokes that I deliver, a tag and then a tag and then a tag, and they're like, no, you went too fast. You needed to wait. Let them laugh, then deliver, let them laugh, then deliver, let them laugh. Like, and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, you're up there and you don't think about it in the moment. Like you're just trying to, again, I'm just like rapid heartbeat, having a heart attack, trying to get my 10 minutes out before I pass out and get off the stage.
It'd be funny if you did pass out.
Yeah. The thing that I would change is that part of the act where you pass out.
When the paramedics came, was that planned?
That was over the top. You didn't really have to do that.
You kind of run in the light.
I know. You went over your time.
And your insurance premiums.
I know. That bit where the guy was checking your pulse, No, it's just a little low for us. It didn't work. Oh man.
So Sarah, thank you very much for
She's talked for 4 fucking hours. Stop her. Nick's dying over here. He's so hungry. He's like, oh my God, what's I need some toast. Something.
Studio is so cramped.
I need to stretch.
Sarah, thank you very much for joining us.
We're on a time crunch.
Do your 10 minutes and get the fuck out of here.
You're not nervous about this.
Oh, no.
Talking? No. No.
So we'll move on to our Curse the Darkness segment. So if there's an idiom that goes, I'd rather light a candle than curse the darkness.
Yeah, it's a Neil Diamond song.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, shit, now I'm getting educated now.
Yeah.
But anyway, in opposition of that, we'd like you to actually curse the darkness and actually complain about something about which you don't plan on making any changes or correcting.
It's hard. I'm a very happy, genuinely happy person. There's very few things where I'm like, eh. But that said, when people are driving, I'm sure this is a common complaint. When people are driving and there's 2 lanes and a person travels into and out of their lane into your lane, like as 2 cars are together and they're both like coming out of a rotary, for instance, and someone like cuts you off and goes into your lane.
Yeah.
I hate that. I won't honk. I'm not a honker.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to be that person who's like, fuck you. I just can't bring myself to do it. I want to be like, hey, be safe.
Yeah, okay. Love you too.
Drive carefully. You're going to kill somebody with your vehicle if you're not careful. Very mom thing. Like,
yeah.
I just want you to be safe.
I can't help but honk. Like,
Is your thing?
But it's not like a mean honk. It's like, I was just like, oh, yeah, I saw what you did there.
Do you try to be like, a beep beep? And like real...
No.
Or do you like,
I just want to make sure I saw what you did. I'm showing my disapproval, but not like mad about it.
Not like that. Yeah, driving definitely has some triggers for me. Those people who stop at a stoplight and then it turns green and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and they just won't go. Those people, I will honk for them. I'll be like, but it's always like, I'm really sorry I'm doing this, beep beep.
I only honk if I realize I could beat up the driver of the other car.
Oh, physically.
So you get out of your car, you go check out the window, then hop back in and go.
If it comes to throwing hands, like I want to know that I'm going to win.
I'm going to win every time.
That's when I honk. Like
I'm going to win every time. I could honk, I guess.
You could honk.
I just I don't know. I really am truly not that aggressive. In the vehicle, I just am like, this is dangerous. I don't really want to be in the car. I'm not going to honk and make matters worse. I just want to get home. Lane shifters, man. That's my, shake your fist and curse the darkness. It's not funny. I wish it was more funny, but.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Thank you.
All right. That was Sara Poulin, everyone. That was Sara Poulin, multi-talented comedian from Auburn, Maine. We're super, super happy to have her on the podcast.
That's correct.
What an asshole.
No. Leonard, I absolutely agree. I love having our guests on. I love having Sarah on, and I look forward to all our future guests, especially people who are multi-talented singer-songwriters.
Yes, I'm always impressed by people who can entertain people in multiple ways.
Clearly. Thanks again to everyone who is still listening. Tell whatever friends are left to follow Comedy Think Tanked wherever you can. Be sure to give us a 5-star or a 4-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Instagram at Comedy Think Tanked, Twitter at Comedy Tanked, and our website, comedythinktanked.com. Email us, please, at comedythinktanked@gmail.com. Have a wonderful day.
music was written and produced by a minor, Ralph Birgfeld. No comedians were hurt in the production of this podcast. All audio snippets of actual funny punchlines were not written or performed by any of us or our subsidiaries. Rather, they are express written bits of professionals we admire. Let the civil actions be filed. Any opinion heard, actual or implied, is that of the Comedy Think Tank producers and their guests. Any slight, insult, affront, slur, disparaging remark, snub, rebuff, rejection, or spurning, no matter how derogatory, pejorative, or abusive you may feel it is, was not intended, but for comedic, entertaining purposes only. Thanks for listening.
You ever hear the phrase like a 5-tool athlete?